Hey, what's up, everybody? XRP is totally back above $2. Now we're sitting here at almost 230, $2.27 to be exact. So where in the Sam hell did this massive candle come from? Well, if you watched the previous video and you looked at the 2-week chart, it was right in front of us the whole time, right there. So we talked about a 9 buy on the 2-week chart, not the weekly, the 2-week chart, which is even more insane. And like I said in the previous two videos, we have not seen this 9 signal, right? This is a buy signal. This is a bullish signal. This is a reversal signal, right? We have not seen that type of signal since how long? Since going all the way back to July of 2022, in which case we saw a pretty significant rally. You could see it started off, but then it came back, but then it continued, right? So if I just put it kind of in the middle here, you could see 64% all the way up to 187%, right? So, but if you look at the entire existence of XRP, we had a 9 2-week buy right there. We had a 9 2-week buy. Let's just do this right there, and right there, and right there. And if you look, this is it started out in 2013. So we'll say 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's like 12, 13 years, guys. Okay? So out of 13 years, we've only had 4 other 9s on the 2-week chart. I'm just trying to give you an understanding of how rare this actually is. And if you don't know what the hell a 9 is, well, let me explain it. Or better yet, what you could do is you go to Google, watch this, what TD sequential is and how the 9 sequence works.
TD sequential, or Tom DeMark sequential, uses 2 phases to spot potential trend reversals. The TD setup, also known as the 9 sequence, looks for unusual price consistency over 9 bars. A 9 signal suggests an upcoming trend change, meaning the current trend might be weakening. For financial advice, consult a professional.
Yeah, don't consult me because I'm not a financial advisor. But look, basically what it is it's essentially an exhaustion indicator. Now, I don't like to use it all by itself. Like, you just don't use the RSI all by itself. You don't just use the price all by itself or Elliott wave all by itself. You use it all together to formulate an overwhelming argument that it's going to go up or it's going to go down. I've been saying for the last couple weeks that we are very close. Sorry, guys, I'm still sick. I still got a lot of congestion and all that. But basically, I've been saying over the last couple of weeks that we should see a bottom. Now, a bottom could be 2 types of bottoms. You can have a reversal bottom, or you can have a local bottom, meaning that this is a local bottom that's taken 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks, right? We've been bottoming out for the last 8 weeks, and I feel like I've been saying, where the bottom is almost there, the bottom is almost there, and then it's like 8 weeks of just going sideways, and then, oh yeah, there's the bottom. Well, what about 3 weeks ago? We saw the same thing, right? So the 9s are even more important on the higher time frames because you could see, when did this start getting kicked off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So not even counting all of these candles over here. So what this means is the price is becoming exhausted to the downside. Now you can even look at the reverse, which is the 9 sell. So if we look at The entire chart of XRP, we've had 1, 2, 3. We've only had 3 9 cells. So if you look at the first 9 cell, which was right here, it actually literally called the top. All right, let's look a little bit closer because you might not be able to see. Look at this. Right here, we had a 2-week 9 cell, and that called a local top. We came down, we consolidated for a while, we came back up, we touched the high, and then we came down and capitulated. And then it started off, and then we had a 9 buy here, which kicked off the biggest XRP rally in the history of XRP. So if you look at the biggest rally in XRP history, which is right here, where did that stem from? What was the seed that grew into the freaking redwood forest? What was that? It was a 9. It was a 2-week 9 right there. And it was essentially like Wyckoff too, and it was stemming from reaccumulation. So we had a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. We had Wyckoff. We had a 2-week 9 buy. So that was the perfect storm for this mega rally. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get a mega rally because we already had, this rally here is somewhat similar to that there. So if anything, what we're looking for is the final move to the upside. Now, you can be in the camp that we're going to get that move to the upside because we had an A, B, C, right? And not only we have a 2-week 9 buy, but it also is coming in at the bottom of 3 down, 3 up, and 5 down. Hopefully this is 5 down. I really hope it is, right? So we have an A, we have a B, and we have a C. We have a perfect flat. This is a flat because the B wave went above the A wave, right? If the B wave comes 90% of wave A, it's a flat. So in this case, it came above wave A, so it's totally a flat. And you could see we came all the way back down here, which is a regular flat. If it would have broke down, it would still be a flat, but we would call it an expanded flat, which could still be the case because we don't know if this is going to be a 4th wave. If you look at Blockchain Backer's videos, he believes that this is the rally prior to capitulation, and I've been explaining that in a way where, if this is the case, right, because it all comes down to Bitcoin, right? So let's hold on, bear with me. So if we look at Bitcoin, what have we been saying here? Well, let's look at the 12-hour or the daily or whatever. Let's go to the 2-day. Let's turn off the sequential and let's look at this real quick. So there's 2 things that can happen here. The first thing is that this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3, and this is an A, B, C, 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we still need wave 5. And if we get wave 5, then that's a wave C. And then we have 3 down, we have 3 up, and we have 3 down, or you could say 5. However you want to count it. You could count it as an expanded flat. I just don't really like this as a B wave, right? Or if this is a wave, if this is a 5th wave, then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be an A, and then we go up for a B, and then we come down for a C, and then we go, right? That's the worst case scenario. But here's the cool part. No matter what happens, we should get a retrace. Now, our only opportunity to get XRP or Bitcoin Cash or, some of these other coins, XLM, all of the coins really, to get a rally of at least 100% or more, requires Bitcoin to go into a retrace, right? Because if you look back over here, this was the start of the bear market. And if you look, we had 1, 2, 3 drives to the high. 3 drives to the high. All right. And on the third drive to the high, if you look at XRP, that's the moment when XRP exploded, right? So XRP exploded when Bitcoin was already topped. Bitcoin was already in distribution. Okay. Same goes with THETA. If we look at THETA, same thing. Let's take that off there, right? The rally started right here. Well, guess what? Bitcoin was in this zone, this distribution zone. So what I'm saying here is if we look over here now, right? Remember, we have, let's get rid of that for a second. Remember, we had 3 drives to the high. Remember. So 1, 2, let's see if we go up and we get 3. Remember, that's when XRP exploded like massively during this little 3-way move. And it wasn't even in a bull market. It was just in a retrace, right? So you could say, oh, that's not going to happen. Altcoins don't do that when Bitcoin is in a bear market. But I just showed you that's totally when altcoins explode in 2 ways. When Bitcoin breaks above the all-time high, which was right here, and when Bitcoin goes into its retrace. Those are the 2 times that alts really shine. Okay? So obviously, we haven't broken above the all-time high. But if this is a bear market, then this means that this is distribution. And if this is distribution, then that means somewhere along the distribution phase, typically in the retrace, we should see certain altcoins, not all of them, certain ones that are in position to explode like massively. So let me go back to XRP. So that would be XRP, right? XRP just formed a 1-year flat with the 2-week 9 buy with a 4th wave. We don't even have 5 waves. We have 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. Where's wave 5? Now, some people can say, well, you got to count it like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, but the problem with that is, look at the size of this wave 2 versus this wave 4. Wave 4s are typically the biggest waves. Wave 2s aren't that big, aren't that much of a big deal. Wave 4s are very complex, very massive, very challenging wave structures, right? So here's the thing right here. Here it is right here, grand finale. So here's the big deal right here. So this is it right here. You don't need anything else except this right here. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get a retrace. Okay. If this is done topping, this could be 3, then we get 3, then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So it's either going to be the blue, or it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's going to be the pink. So it's going to be the blue or it's going to be the pink. Now let's talk about that. Now if we go back to Bitcoin or XRP, if it's the pink, then that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're getting 5. Right? Or I'm sorry. No. Wait. Okay. Let's see. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, see, I don't really like it like that. Because I want to say that, okay, yeah, now I know. Okay, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, and this is a flat right here for a 4. And then we get 5 of the 5th wave, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all of that's 5, right? So this is the pink path. And then once we do that, we capitulate down in here, we form a bottom, and then we go rampaging like never before. Trust me on that, right? Not financial advice. I could be totally wrong. Don't make any decisions based on what I say. Please don't do that. But only the OGs know, what's been said over how long, right? Over this period of time. So that's the pink count. Now the blue count says we're done. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? So this is complete. And we have this pump up. We flagged out. We chilled out. And now we're exploding to the upside. Now, blockchain backer thinks that this is a rally prior to capitulation. And he could be right. Totally right. Which means that this is a flat right here. This is an A. This is a B. And we're going to go up for a C. Maybe an expanded flat. Maybe it gets up here. Maybe it gets up there. I don't know. But it will capitulate after that. That's the idea. Do I think it's going to do that? Well, it depends on Bitcoin. Does Bitcoin give us a fifth wave? Or is Bitcoin kind of like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm going to go up now. That's the big question. I don't know. I can't tell you definitively one way or another. But here's the cool part. Whatever happens, let's say we get a capitulation. Okay, well, that means after that, XRP flies. Let's say Bitcoin is finished and we go up into a retrace. Well, then XRP flies. So either way, XRP is going up. That's why it's such an easy no-brainer to me to be holding an asset like XRP, even though we could have some serious problems coming up if we did go into capitulation. For example, if we did go into capitulation, I would imagine we would go somewhere between $1.30 is sort of the target that I would look for. I don't really want to see it go below that. I would imagine I would just say this zone right here. Because why this zone? Because that's our retrace block. Okay, so this is not a lot of support. This is more support. This is our retrace block. So we will hold above that. So you can say, well, I'm an investor. What do I do? Do I hold? Do I sell? Do I buy? Do I what? Do nothing. I wouldn't do nothing right now since we pumped. We just pumped massively. Look at that. I wouldn't do nothing. Now, you should have been buying down in here when we were talking about the 2-week 9. But like I said before, that 2-week 9 could take several months to fulfill itself, right? If you look at the 2-week chart and we go to the 9, look how long it took. So we had a 2-week, then we had to wait 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks before it actually broke out. And then it had to go down 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then it had to go down all of this time just to come back up, right? Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, not even close. But even back over here, like this 2-week, this happened immediately. It happened immediately. So here's the cool part, if it happens immediately, which it's doing right now, it could be short-lived versus having a base down here. Remember what I said last week? I said I would rather have this candle trade side by side with the 9. And then the following candle we can break out. That would give us 1, 2, 3, 4. That would give us a 4-candle base. But we only have a 3-candle base. And it's really only a 2-candle base because this candle, the 7, doesn't really count because it's sort of flush with the top. So it doesn't have a significant body below, right? And if you look at this candle, this is why I don't really trust it too much. I mean, because it doesn't have a wick. Where's the wick? There's no wick. We want a wick down here to test. And the wick, what the wick does is it solidifies the move. It makes the move. It's sort of like when you're buying a house and you sign the papers, you need a witness, right? The notary, you need a witness. That's what the wick is. The wick is like, hey, it's confirmed, right? But we don't have that. So, you don't necessarily need it all the time. Like, look at this one here. See, this had a little wick, right? And it ended up being a pretty big candle after that. So if we put them side by side here, right? And we have Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin starts to go up like this, and then it comes down like this, and then it goes up in 5, and it gives us this standard 3-wave retrace. During that time, we want to see XRP explode, maybe up to $5 to $10, right? You could say, well, how is that even possible from that little tiny move? Again, it happened back in 2018 right here. See, look at this right here. Bitcoin rallied, and then it crashed, and then it retraced. Well, when did XRP explode? It exploded in this little tiny wave right here, guys. So if I put XRP on the screen, there you go. Now you could say, well, it started before that. Yes, it did. But one of the biggest move happened right here. So here's the first red candle. We were already in a bear market, but look at XRP. It was green. And then we came down, then we went sideways, then we went up. And during that entire time, XRP was just rampaging to the upside. So we see the bull market support band coming up. Let's see where the bull market support band is. Yeah. See, this is where we're going to get some resistance, because then it turns into what? A bear market resistance band versus a bull market support band. So if this comes up and gets hit, right, and it can't make it, and then it's going to come down. But if we can kind of butt up against it and break out and then back test it and can back test it, and then we can go, that would be very interesting. So the biggest thing here is getting our 5th wave to the upside. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that 5th wave would come in a retrace, inside of a retrace. And then we would go into a bear market, and then we would go into a bear market. That's my biggest hope, is we get something like that. I really, 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 really hope we get that. If we don't get that, then what else? What else would it be? Let's say Bitcoin goes into a retrace, but XRP, same thing, right? Also goes into a, come on, let's see. I'm going to open this up here. There we go. Bitcoin goes into a retrace, and then XRP as well goes into a retrace, and it just goes like this, and then we start going down. Well, then I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say 3, 3, and 5, and then we would go up. So it's either we go up now, or we have one more low, then we go up later. Right? Now, let's say neither of those happen, which I don't think. I think it's going to be one of the two. Then I would look at it like this. We have 3 waves down. We would get 3 waves up, and then we would get 3 or 5 waves down, and it would become a bigger, more complex wave. Right? It would give us a more complex wave structure. So again, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. So it would be, let's just do it like this. This would be A, then we would get B, and then we would get C, right? And we would have an A, a B, and a C, an A, a B, and a C, and an A, and a B, and a C. You see that? So that's basically it, right? And if worst case scenario, if Bitcoin goes into a bear market and XRP does not explode in a retrace, then that means XRP is just continuing the bear market it's been in since 2018. We've been in a bear market this entire time, guys. So we're closer to the finish line than we are to the beginning. Like, not even close. So what do we need? We need Trump and his crypto agenda to take over, which we're getting. It's just, there's a lot of other things we're doing, but everything is in the correct time. It's all timing, right? So we need more regulation. We need more. We need crypto talk. We need companies. We need investment. We need, there's a lot of things that are still growing. Like, just look at the XRP ETF thing, right? Maybe, again, that's another thing I forgot to talk about. This could, the XRP ETFs are, I think they're trading, right? Or they're approved. Maybe they're not completely trading yet. I don't even know. But I think once that happens, that could be the fire, because all we're not asking for the moon. Well, yeah, we are. All we're asking for is one wave. We're just saying, we have one, we have two, we have three, we have four. All we need is five. Done. And then we could say, yeah, bear market. Right? So, look at this. You explode to the upside. You consolidate, and then final hoorah. Right? It's the same thing here. You explode to the upside, consolidate. Everyone thinks it's a bear market. Everyone thinks we're going down. And then, hoorah, we go up one more wave just like that. And that wave came in a Bitcoin retrace, I think. Let's see. Yeah, so, well, it's hard to tell on this chart. I have to use the Bitcoin chart because it's kind of in the way, but it's there. So, all right, so we're done. We got it done. All right. Now let's look at the smaller time frames. The smaller time frames is where I'm starting to see problems. Now, here's the problem. What I don't know is this a flat? You have boom, and you have boom. It looks like a perfect flat. So it could totally be 1, 2, 3, and this whole thing is a 4, and then we get 5. Right? Hopefully that's not the case. Now, what is the alternative? Well, this is a wave 3. You could see very, very clearly that this is an impulse. We have a 1, we have a 2. This could be 3, ladies and gentlemen. And then we go down for 4, and then we go up for 5. And that fifth wave actually breaks us above the bull market support band. So let's put a little eclipse right here, and we'll stretch it out like that. There we go. And then we'll start it angled up again, and something like that, And then what would I expect to happen is if we get this fourth and the fifth wave, right? Because then we would be at this resistance level, major resistance level. And then I would see some ABC consolidation, test the bull market support band, build a base, maybe an inverse head and shoulders, and then we explode off of the low, and that would be a 1 and a 2. And then we would be on our way for that wave 3. So I have to zoom out on that right there. And where is this coming from? Well, if we look and we just take a regular retrace, and we'll put it right there. I mean, we're looking at anywhere between $5 and say almost $9. So we'll put a line right there and a line there. And then we'll put one there and then one there. And you even have the 4.236 up there. So, all right, we get rid of that. I mean, we'll talk about those targets later. How dare you talk about $8 XRP when we're in a bear market? I know, right? It's a crime. So no, you guys don't say that. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys. You guys are good audience. Some of these crypto channels, I look at the comments, I'm like, damn, they get eviscerated. Well, I'm open to that. Just point out where it went wrong, because I've been pretty open with every move, every thing. I think, I'm not here. This is not a shot calling channel. I'm not calling for moves. I'm just giving us the reality of the situation, and it's up to you to decide, hey, I want to do this or I want to do that. Not based on what I say, but taking it into consideration, especially since, I got the experience with this stuff, and I've seen it time and time again. So, especially, remember what I was just talking about a couple weeks ago, right? If we go up to the 10-day chart, each candle is 10 freaking days. And what happens is you get complacent. We're going down, 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 down. And what happens is that psychologically does something to our minds. It makes us think that, well, we don't want to buy yet because it's not over yet. And then all of a sudden, bam, you get a massive candle off the low. And then people pile in, and then they start to buy, and then that's when it goes down. So it just screws everybody over. That's why, remember what I said. I literally just said it the other day. When you buy crypto, it's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to feel bad. It's supposed to feel terrible. Because, I'll give you an example. COVID-19 right here. When we were going down, 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 I bought right in here, and it felt bad. It felt like illegal. It felt totally illegal. Like, why am I doing this? This is suicide. This is money suicide. And it ended up being the best buy of my life. Okay? So, well, maybe not my life, but it ended up being a really good buy. So when we were down here, right, and we were forming this little base, if you bought and it didn't feel good, because it could have easily kept going down, right? But it didn't. It went up. So that's why dollar cost averaging in an environment where it doesn't feel good is the best dollar cost average you can get, because hey, the prices is already beat up a lot. And yes, they could get beat up a little bit more, but how much more? Not that much more, because we've already gotten killed. I mean, look, we've been going down literally since July. So an entire 6 months, we've been just going down. So do you think that's just going to keep going down? No, science. We should get a bounce. Now, we just, well, before I talk about that, look, let me just finish this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an idea. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is an idea if Bitcoin can get a big retrace, at least a 618 retrace. So I would expect 5 waves, and then I would expect a little bit of consolidation in here, build that base, right? And then we have a 1, 2, and then we go 3, 4, and then 5 for that big grand finale. Now, let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say we just get up here and then we roll over. Well, now we have a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder, and we'll recognize that, right? And if we did that, then I would say that this is A, this is B, and now we're going down for C, and then we would look for those targets later. Those targets are going to get hit no matter what. They're going to get hit soon, or they're going to get hit later. So if you don't know when, you might as well just hold it. I mean, so let's look at this. We did the first step, which was what? Breaking above the downward resistance line. We totally broke above the downward resistance line. You could see we've been in this channel since September. All of September, all of October, all of November, all of December, and then we finally cracked out of it. And people are shocked. And it's like, why would you be shocked? It's like, so, hit subscribe, hit the like button. I really appreciate that. And look, we just had the 2-week 9. And I don't think one person talked about it on YouTube yesterday. I don't think so. And it turned out it was a total, correct move. Look at this. I mean, just 2 days ago, XRP just gave us a bullish signal only seen 4 other times in history. And now what do we see today? Exploding. And I said, even THETA had a huge buy signal only seen 3 other times, right? So let's look at THETA now. And here we have, I was going to show you this here. So blockchain backer,
this little rally right in here before that capitulation.
Blockchain backer thinks, where's his little, okay, that's what he thinks. He thinks that this is a flat and we're going to have one more low. I mean, he's not wrong. It could totally happen. Now, if Bitcoin gives us the 5th wave, remember Bitcoin, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and it looks like that. So what I'm saying is if Bitcoin gets that 5th wave, then yes, I could see that. But if Bitcoin does not get the 5th wave and we go into a retrace, I think this could be a bigger move. So where is the bull market support band at? It's right at 231 to 242. So I would expect resistance in that level. All right, small time frames. Let's look at them. So the small time frames, look at this. This is the 6-hour chart, and you just had a 9 sell on the 6-hour chart. So I'd be a little bit concerned there. You had a 9 on the 4-hour. We already passed that. Oh, look at that. You even have a 9 on the 12-hour chart, guys. And you're butting up against the bull market support band. So would I short it? Would I sell it? No, but I would go to the small time frames. And what I would do is I would count these waves. Look, this is bullish right here. Look at the wave structure. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Breakout, right? You had those 3 drives to the high. You came down. You built a base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-way pullback. Another impulse. 3-way pullback. A major impulse with a 9. So what does that mean? That means we're rocking and we're rolling. So I would expect this 1, 2, 3, and then it looks like I don't see, the thing is that third waves can be also very complex. Like this whole thing could be one third wave. Like if I'm counting this, like let me get rid of that so we're not confused. This is the third wave. We know that. But inside of the third wave, is this 1, 2, is all of that 3, and then we get 4, and then we get 5? That's what we don't know. Or is this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is the 5th? And here's the big problem, guys. Today is Monday, and when we pump on Monday, I hate it. I don't like it. I don't trust it. So I'm more in the camp of blockchain backer, thinking this is a rire prior to capitulation, kind of, sort of, just because today is Monday. And when you pump on Mondays, that's not good. You don't really want it. I would much rather have seen us pump Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, not Monday. All right? Just because, I don't know, just my experience, Mondays are not the best time to pump. So I would expect this to get hit, and I would expect this to probably chill out a little bit, and let's see if we can hold support. Now, let's get rid of all this, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a line, and we're going to put it right there. So you could see the bottom of this support. Very strong support there. You could see all in here, all in there, right? And where is that at? That's at $2.08. So that's the line. There you go. So as long as we could stay above that, I'm expecting higher prices. If we break below that, I'm expecting, like what BCB said, prior to rally prior to capitulation. So is he going to be right? I don't know. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about knowing what the options are so that you can't be wrong, right? If we know if we break below 208, we could, it's all about probabilities, right? So it's never a definitive thing, but knowing the options helps a lot. So, let's see what else here. I think that's it. I think that's it for XRP. I don't want to go too far on into this. So let's look at the monthly. Let's take everything off the screen. And the monthly looks fine. 2-month looks fine. You know, again, look what you're doing. You're building a line. You're building a base right in here. Right? So this is the all-time high. This is the retrace high. And now we're building a base on top of both of these peaks. And you need a base, right? You need a base, right? Just like how we need a base in Greenland for strategic reasons, right? XRP needs to build a base here. Think of the XRP price chart like a colony of ants, all right? And you look at the ants and they're moving stuff and you're like, whoa, what are they doing? They're building these tunnels and they're doing all these things and they're like super intelligent, right? That's kind of like what XRP is doing. It's building. How does it know to build a base here, right? And it doesn't know why it's building it, but once it's built and then we go up and then we come down, that's when we're going to need the base. We don't need the base right now, right? This is being built for way in the future. When we go up and then we come back down, we're going to hold. We're going to hold it because we built this. Now, if XRP would have just exploded and then it came down, it could have crashed and killed itself. But the fact that it's building all of this with this and this, we have 3 points now. So when we go up and when we come back down, then we're going to be able to hold it. Still looks kind of bullish. I still think we could get some more upside, maybe. Not too much. I wouldn't be buying it, though. Okay, so let's look at other coins and let's see what's going on here. So, I guess we'll start with Filecoin here. I mean, I bought some Filecoin. You better believe it. Spot position. Spot, you know. And I'm just holding it. Because if think about it. If it ever goes back to a retrace, that's like that's a 30x move just in a retrace. That's crazy. So it's not going to happen today or tomorrow, but it, you know, maybe over time we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It looks like it's complete. It looks like you have 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 waves, and you have this wick. So, you know, let's see if we get a retrace in here. Or if Bitcoin's going into a bear market, maybe this has to, you know, capitulate a little bit more and build structure in here before we go up. Nothing really much on that one. We talked about Bitcoin dominance. What is dominance doing? Well, dominance is just chilling. And to me, it looks like it could possibly go back up here soon before going down, hopefully. Same thing with DOT. I mean, look, you had all of this and then you capitulated. So I don't see a lot more downside to go with some of these altcoins. Now, Bitcoin Cash has not been going down. It's been going up. And I've talked about that one in the last video, so I won't talk about it too much on this video. But all I'll say is there's 2 options. Either this is going to kind of chill out and go, or this is going to be an ABC and then we go. I don't know. We'll see. It looks bullish. I mean, you could see where we're at. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, we're right there at the most critical level. You know, so it's very interesting how that's playing out. So if we do get rejected in here, you know, we're still going into the resistance, going into the resistance, going into the resistance, going into the resistance. So if we come back down and go into it again, eventually it will break. Dash is interesting. I don't, you know, We got a three-way move here. You got this little impulse. And Dash and Bitcoin Cash are like old dinosaur coins, right? But remember, those two coins never performed in 2021 like THETA and ADA and all those other coins did. They went up massively in 2021. So it could be a rotation. Rune. I bought some Rune at 55 cents. Just holding it, just see what happens, you know. If I mean, cuz look at the retrace block here. It's at $7, okay? That's like me buying XRP at 60 cents and then it goes to $8 in a retrace. That's crazy. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I mean, this thing could still just keep rocking down, man, because it's you got no support. No support. So it's a very shot in the dark. And this is not a shot in the dark, but it's definitely risky, but it's not too risky because I'm doing it at the bottom of 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm also doing it upon a Bitcoin retrace, upon a 2-week 9 buy on XRP. I'm taking other charts as confluence for my decision here. And then also, I think this also had a 2-week 9. Oh yeah, look at that. We had a 2-week 9 buy right there. Perfect. Is there any other 9s on here that we don't even know about? I don't think so. Oh, look at that. We had a 2-month 9 buy on Rune here. Wow. Well, that takes the cake. The last time we had a 2-month 9 buy on Rune, we literally exploded when we broke the 9. We exploded 600%. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but look, the 9s are telling you it's getting exhausted. And if you have a 9 at the end of the 5th, like if I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I had a 9 in the middle of the 3rd, it wouldn't make sense. But if I have a 9 at the top of the 5th, it makes total sense. So there you go, Rune. Monero is on a 2-month 9 sell. Look at that. Let's go to the other Monero chart. Where's it at? I'm a little bit conflicted on Monero right now because on one hand, we're super bullish. On the other hand, we have 5 waves and we're starting to get toppy signals like a 9 and divergence. So, you know, it could be you have a big cup and now you have a smaller cup. It could be you get one more smaller cup and it turns into an ascending triangle and then we break out. And that would make sense. And it would actually be even healthier for the price. Because if we look at the smaller time frames, let's get rid of that. And let's put the bull market support band. I mean, look how bullish this thing is, man. The thing is like, is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C? Is it 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2? I mean, is that's the most bullish right there? It's a nest of 1, 2s, or is it 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 1, 2, 3, and then we have 3, 4, 5, and then we have 5. It's tough. It's a tough one. Or you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get A, B, and then C, and then go up. Now you could say, oh, well, you're just... Look, so what do I think is the most likely option? Well, it depends on the smaller time frames. Now, what I will say is my main idea is I want to see the bull market support band. If we go below the bull market support band, I'm looking at 3B, I'm looking at A, B, C. If we stay above the bull market support band, I'm looking at it continuing to go up. It's pretty simple. I just use the bull market support band as a guide, you know? And then also, especially if we break below this level right here, which is this zone right here. You know, if we break below that, then you know, I would look at this as a, let's see, a trend-based fib extension from the top to the bottom to the top. You know, we could go all the way down to 273, the one-to-one extension right here. And this will be a flat. So, anyways, that's Monero. I mean, just look at you got a cup and you got a handle. I mean, look, you're right at resistance. It's nothing to play around with, you know? The question is that the problem is, rather, that we've been going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. But luckily we built, you know, a little bit of a base, a little bit of a base, a little bit of a pullback here. Maybe this turns into a base. A base is a complex move, right? This is just a three-way pullback. But if you get 3, 3, and 3, that's a base. 3, 3, and 3, that's a base. But this is just 3. So if this turns into 3 and then 3, then we turn into a base. So we could get a base. Now, ADA, I don't like ADA because I feel like it's a flat. See, look it, when you're going down, 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 and then you immediately shoot up, I don't trust that at all. What we want to see, guys, is we want to see it come up, and then we want to see it come down, and then up, and then we want to build support. And then I would trust that, right? But if we're just going completely down, and then we instantly shoot up, well, I'm going to first need to see 5 waves, and then a 3-way pullback, and then maybe we get on board. Theta looks a lot better, way better than ADA. Why? Because we have an actual base right in here. So that's why I bought Theta over ADA. Now, if you look at Theta, we had a 2-week 9 or 2-day 9 buy. We also had a 2-week 9 buy. Look at that, 2-week 9 buy right there. So look at all those red candles. We finally got a green candle, right? So, you know, this is a bullish bounce, and it can turn into a rally, but we need how do we know if it's a bounce or a real legit move? Well, we need 5 waves. So let's look at look at Litecoin. Even Litecoin had a 2-week 9 buy. Wow. Did I know that, or did I? Okay, so what we need here to confirm it, and I'll just use Litecoin as an example. Look how beautiful that is. 3, 3, and then is that 5 or 3? Or you could say 3. But you had a little flat here, so. But whatever, it's a 3-way move. Boom. Litecoin is interesting. So my question is, if we get, or your question is, how do we know this is a legit breakout versus a bounce and then a crash? Well, we need 5 waves. So I would go down to the 4-hour, 6-hour. Do we have 5 waves? No. This is just a 1, 2, 1, 2, maybe. Let's see if we get 3, 4, and then 5. If we got that, then I would look for an ABC. And then I could say, okay, now we're ready to go for another move up. So you have to take it wave by wave. You can't just say definitively, yeah, we're going up, because things can change. So we have to take it wave by wave. So what's the process? That's why you got to hit like, subscribe, man. You got to follow along here, because each day things change, right? And you know, so to me, we got to give it some time here. So if this kind of comes up, wait for a 3-way pullback. But if we have an impulse to the downside, then it all depends how the correction looks after it's done rallying, right? You don't want to buy it during the rally. You want to buy it before the rally. Ethereum, I don't know about that one. AXS. Another one I bought was this one, AXS. I think I bought this one. Yeah, we had a little impulse, little move here. Nice rally. I bought Rune and AXS. just because, I don't know, they looked interesting. I mean, look how nasty that looks. I mean, dude, oh my God. We're at 98 cents. The all-time high, ladies and gentlemen, were $160. Can you imagine if we ever even got back to halfway there? That's a lot of money. So if you put in $100 right now, and we go up to, let's say we go up to $90, that's 9,000%. So that's like me, if I bought $1,000 right here, okay, and we went up to, I don't know why that's, come on. If I bought $1,000 worth at, say, 90 cents, and we went up to $90, not now, I'm saying over time. It could take years. You know how much that is? That's $8,000 in profit. So imagine you give your buddy $1,000, and then the next day your buddy gives you $8,000. That's a lot. That's a big move right there. Anyways, this is $160. We're talking pennies down here. Like, that's a huge move. Now, it could be dead. It could be completely dead. We may never even get back to this level ever. I don't know. I don't know what AXS does. I mean, I think it's a gaming thing, but I don't know if it's going to survive or not. We're investors. We take risk, right? And I judge the risk by the chart, not necessarily by, who's running the place and all that. Even though you should, as a long-term investor, like, that's why I love XRP, because I trust Ripple and Brad Garland. I mean, those guys are awesome. The way they break things down. So XLM. Oh yeah, XLM. That was one I was gonna get and I did not. Damn. But even XLM, I don't like how it just kind of went down and then straight up. Like, it just reminds me of a flat. It reminds me of a trap. So I just don't want you guys to get trapped. Yes, it's exciting, but often the first move, like, for example, this was a trap. This was a trap. This was a trap, right? So you're going to need it to come up. You're going to need it to come down. And then it's not the fact that it's going up. This is going up. Once it starts to stop and once it starts to go down, that's when we need to pay attention. Is it corrective on the way down? Is it impulsive on the way down? We don't know. So you got to wait. Because when you look at this chart, it looks beautiful. Look at this. Look at this three-way move. It looks perfect. It looks like too perfect. You have an impulse. You have a three-way. I mean, it's literally a textbook move. Literally. But the question is the C wave done? Or do we need 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 4, and then we need 5? I mean, maybe Bitcoin does. So as I'm recording, XRP just crossed $2.30. Let's go take a look. Yep. We're definitely pumping for XRP. So, and XRP is pumping a lot compared to other coins. So I wonder if it has something to do with ETFs. I just type in XRP news. XRP breaks 212 as shrinking exchange supply lead to price squeeze. Blah, 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 blah. ETFs quietly accumulate 2 billion XRP off exchanges. Wow. Venezuela oil and XRP just connected in unexpected ways. Altcoin season index signals Solana XRP ready to outpace. Who cares about Solana? Solana's a great blockchain. It's all cool. Everything's nice. But it's the chart. It sucks. Like, why would anyone want that? I don't know. Don't look back, says investor. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's do this. Let's type in XRP ETF. News. XRP ETF start 2026 with 1.3 billion. Can institutional demand push price above $4 by year end? Bro. A year end? That's a whole year away. That's 100%. That's not even 100%. What are you talking about? It's going to be way higher than $4 by the end of the year, unless when Bitcoin goes into its retrace, we get completely hammered back down. But anyway, XRP breaks. We saw that XRP ETFs absorb 483 million in December. ETFs quietly accumulate 2 billion off exchanges. I mean, so this is the Bitcoin futures chart. So it's been trading since June. Okay, so here's the Bitwise chart right here. Wow. $25. So they valued it a little differently. Okay, so it's 25. I don't know. I guess it's like maybe 25 XRP to 1, or I'm not sure exactly how they do that, but yeah, there's the chart right there. So
Several XRP ETFs have been approved, including those from Franklin Templeton and Bitwise, among others. These spot ETFs, approved in late 2025, offer direct XRP exposure.
yeah. But are there any left to be approved? How many more XRP ETFs are there yet to be approved? Doesn't really say. I don't know if they're all approved yet. It says not. No, that's old. Anyways, we got a green day today. It sucks that it's on a Monday. I hate pumps on Mondays. I would much rather see it on a Wednesday. Like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we don't want it to pump. We want it to be kind of chill, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we want it to go crazy. So I just hope that this doesn't lead to a bad week. Oh, look at that. We just hit 233 on XRP. We just crossed right into here's the bull market support band. We just tagged it. So I normally wouldn't go this long on a video. I'm trying not to, but dude, this is some cool price action in here. So silver is still consolidating from its massive high it had. So Bitcoin Cash looking still pretty good. So I think that's it. Let's just scroll down a little bit and see if there's anything that's interesting here. The market cap is over 140. Let me see. Let's look at the market cap real quick. Market cap is still very bullish, because if you look at the market cap, we're technically in a bull market. Whoops. We're technically, I mean, don't really like to say that, but that's the peak right there. And then we'll take one more line and we'll put it right there. So as long as we're above that zone between 90 billion and 130 billion, we're doing pretty damn good. And I would actually, let's go to the weekly, and I'm going to put it on the order block itself. I'm going to take, let's just do that right there. That's the order block itself. There we go. And then, yeah, so those are the 3 lines. You got the ultimate peak, the order block, which is the most important, and then the retrace level. So as long as we're above those lines, we should be looking at upside, especially since we have an impulse and now we're correcting. So eventually we should get another move up. If we don't, then we should come down and test these lower levels and then get the move up. So no matter what, it's coming. I hate to say it. But anyways, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. And remember, not financial advice. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.